In the shade, we're giving away the friends by our side. We'll seize the day, your turn to die. Emotions run high in this world of stories. Together we fly.
Welcome back to the shed.
Welcome back to Progene's Garden. I think we're on like part 10 now. Part
Something
10,
like
part
that,
11, something
probably.
like that. We're around there. But
Back
in the trial we go.
We'll go right
Sure.
back into it to keep the hype train going.
Absolutely.
Let's see, what has it been like a day since record? We accused Diana, and she's like,
Yeah.
no!
Yeah.
And then we learned about what actually happened down there, and someone is trying to frame her.
Yeah, we saw a lot going on, and Wolfgang was going a little nuts.
Yeah,
So,
hallucinations.
He had a little bit of a breakdown, but now we're back.
We're back. Alright, let's begin.
Welcome back. Let's do it.
If Wolfgang wasn't killed with the taser gun or the generator, what other options are we left with? The taser gun is the only option, which makes sense. The murder weapon can't be anything else.
The true murder weapon. Is it possible there's a third source of electricity we haven't considered yet? Am I grasping at straws by thinking something like that?
And anyway, the only proof Diana never shot the taser is her own word.
Huh? Ava, what do you mean?
All the evidence supporting your version of events is circumstantial. The note you showed us? That could be a fake alibi you made for yourself. The fact that it has the same handwriting as Wolfgang's is already suspicious.
Couldn't that just mean the same person tricked them?
If you earnestly believe Diana didn't write it, then maybe. But you see what I'm saying? There's no proof Diana never wrote the notes. There's only her word to go by. Because if she did write them, everything about her entering the boiler room at 8:45 a.m. and being locked inside could be a total lie. I get what you're saying, but if we run with the idea that Diana was the one waiting for Wolfgang all the way back at 8:15 a.m., then we're stuck with the issue we had last time. Why did Diana wait over an hour to kill him? That's also circumstantial. None of us know what went on between those two in an hour. Ruling something out because they took a long time to murder is stupid. Without context, sure, I'd say the same. But since the boiler room is unlocked, anyone can enter. If Diana knocked Wolfgang out, then she took over an hour to kill him with that info in mind. Okay, but who would enter? No one wants to make a detour down to some gross, freaky-looking basement. The boiler room is probably the most covert place a person can be.
The most covert place? Her words do make sense. After all, I chose to meet Tozu in the boiler room for that very same reason.
Diana claims she didn't write the notes, and she claims she didn't shoot the gun. But where's the hard proof she didn't do any of these things?
The answer lies in what destroyed the generator.
What? Didn't we already talk about that?
All you guys did was discuss theories, never anything concrete. Settling for a theory isn't good enough when our lives are on the line. In the same way Ava can't rule out Diana's involvement in the case, we can't rule out the generators. So we have to figure out what destroyed the generator? What should we do? Just throw out ideas? It's what we've been doing this whole time. Oakley dokley!
What?
Oakley dokley is crazy. Alright everyone, let's put our thinking hats on. If we work together, we'll unravel this mystery for sure. Ready? On your marks, get set, go! Wow, thanks.
Oh, you shouldn't have.
Oh, you shouldn't have.
Oh shit, 4.
We got some new
Taser
shit.
gun, generator, shrapnel.
Why did the generator blow up?
Could have been electrical's fault.
So, a coincidence?
Is this the best situation to be waving stuff off as a coincidence?
Did the killer throw something at the generator that made it explode?
Perhaps. It's the fault of the taser gun. The electrical discharge is released. Might have connected with the generator and created an abundance of energy. which caused everything in the circuit to pop. Probably. There's no proof besides the taser. Anything besides the taser was involved. It means. Hold on. Shrapnel? Probably shrapnel on that one.
Yeah. It's gotta be something with the shrapnel. It's one of the only things we haven't talked about.
Yeah. May I have your attention, please? May I have your attention,
May I have
please?
your attention, please? Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? I guess, Kai's about throwing something at the generator, but that's like a...
That was a disagree.
Is it
And
disagree,
actually,
even though
even
he's
then, I
right.
don't think he said anything.
Let's
Like,
see.
that we can talk about.
Oh, no, he didn't. Okay. I thought he did. Because he's right on the money. Let's see. Oh, boom!
Boom!
No, that's wrong! Ava, you point-dextered motherfucker. You four-eyes looking...
Oh, yeah. I posted on the Project Eden's Garden Reddit, like, a link to the first episode. And
Yeah.
someone was like, not one of you giving Damon a fuckboy voice. And I was like, that's just my friend's normal speaking voice. And he's like, Tommy
That's
did a great
insane.
job.
That's insane, bro. Unfortunately, Ava, I have to disagree. You say nothing but the taser could have been involved in the murder, but there's one possibility you didn't consider. The shrapnel in the water.
You mean those bits of red metal, which were floating around?
Right. The ones that look like the aftermath of an explosion. Due to their proximity to the generator, it's safe to assume the two are connected. Can't that just be debris left by the generator? Except this debris is a completely different color, and lacks the rust the generator has accumulated. We're obviously looking at the remnants of something else, which means an object we haven't yet identified was caught in the explosion. And floating near it was another one out-of-place item. Oh, the cord.
Yes, sir.
Extinction cord. That's it! I got it!
I'll cut
In
you.
the water was also an extension cord, half of which had been burnt away. Huh? Did the cord just get caught in the explosion?
Seems that the cord had the misfortune of floating around the wrong place at the wrong time.
From what I saw in my investigation, the building's extension cord supply seems to be kept inside storage closet D. So, in a way, yeah, it was definitely in the wrong place.
Storage closet D, huh? It was hard to make out much of it in the dark, and after the power came on, Kai came screaming for us to leave our closets. But I do recall seeing some extension cords peeking out from behind a shelf. Since we already know the killer raided one of these storage closets, one storage closet, anyone else willing to bet they'd raided this one too? Why the hell did they need an extension cord for? Probs. Probably something
Probs on this
involving the
guy's
generator, given its proximity to the cord.
Same thing with the red bits, even though we don't know what they are. Right, the red shrapnel. Definitely isn't debris left by the generator, so what exactly is it? So far, nothing in the boiler room can be directly tied to the shrapnel. At least, not any of the clues that haven't already been discussed in the trial. If I were to flip my thinking, and consider the clues we haven't discussed yet, oh whoops, there's no proof what I have in mind is related to the shrapnel. But when all other options are ruled out, I can only turn towards the one that hasn't. The one thing that mysterious shrapnel might be related to. The odd smell, I guess.
Maybe.
That is like the one other thing we haven't discussed.
True. Right?
Yeah, I think that's like the only thing that works with it. So let's just do the odd smell.
Hell
There we go.
yeah.
Got it! Hey, give me some. Hold that thought. We may be able to identify the shrapnel using context clues. During the investigation, there was a strange smell permeating the boiler room. It took me a moment to notice, but when I did, well, the best way to describe the scent would be if you mix cereal and alcohol together.
Cereal and alcohol. Talk about specific. Mm-hmm. 'Tis a sign a chemical reaction was at play. Wait, you recognize the smell? Chemical reactions can produce some pretty pungent odors. Usually something to the tune of alcohol mixed with cereal or fruits or eggs. Now, I noticed the smell going into the investigation, but it completely slipped my mind until now.
Could it be a chemical reaction was caused by the taser?
The gun never touched the water. There's no reason for it to be the source of the smell.
What about the generator? Considering the state of it, that generator would smell more burnt than anything else.
If the chemical reaction can't be explained by what we already know, like the generator or the taser gun, we need to consider the possibility that the explanation is the one piece of evidence still evading us, the shrapnel. Can someone translate this into less complicated talk?
It was a long-winded way of saying he's using the process of elimination.
I know it sounds like a stretch, but if you follow this line of reasoning, a lot more questions start getting answered. Think about it. If the smell and shrapnel are linked, then whatever object the shrapnel belongs to must contain chemicals. So we're looking for a metal object, which is also packed with chemicals?
Surely something like that would be kept inside the pharmacy.
Looking at my notes, When we originally visited the pharmacy, I recorded everything I saw. A bright red metal object would have definitely caught my eye, but I don't see one written here.
I got lots of metallic objects in my dorm room, but nothing chemical. Just big old slabs of metal.
Big old slabs of metal. Why does that sound familiar? Hold on. That's right. What Ingrid just said now is similar to what she said the night everyone began bunking together.
I guess this would explain my room too. It's littered with all sorts of fancy tools and metals.
At this time, people were talking about their dorm rooms being themed around their talents. Could it be? Could the shrapnel actually be the remnants of the unique device that guy boasted about having in their room? The only way to know for sure
That guy.
is to put you on the spot.
Jet.
Jet Dawson, the ultimate
You and your
drag racer.
lithium
You and your
batteries or whatever.
furry hat and yeah, I went the
fucking
wrong direction. Jet, I need to ask you something.
What's up?
Can you tell me what's inside your dorm room?
Like a full-on list, or?
Whatever works.
Sure thing. Got a pretty gnarly collection of parts and accessories, blind spot mirrors, lithium batteries, wheels, spare brakes, you name it. Oh, I even have a legendary mantle from the 1984 Grand Prix winning Speedster.
That's what I was hoping to hear.
Cool. So, why'd you want to know? Unless... Wait. I'm not being suspected, am I? No. Don't worm me into this, bro. I've got nothing to do with the murder.
Oh my god. I know you don't. You have an alibi.
Oh, thank God.
The only reason I ask is because the mysterious red shrapnel may be the remnants of one of your lithium batteries.
What? I see. A lithium battery might explain the smell in the air.
And lithium. That's an explosive substance. If it made contact with water, gosh, you'd be left with a mess and a half.
Wouldn't someone have heard the explosion, though?
I did.
Really?
During the tournament. Right before we lost power.
Why? That's right. There was a boom.
Wait, I remember hearing it too! I initially assumed the generator made the noise somehow, but if Jet's car batteries contain an explosive substance... Hey, Jet! Were your batteries bright red at all?
Maybe?
You don't know for sure?
I never took the batteries out of their packaging. Their packaging isn't red, I can tell you that. But the actual batteries? Yeah, I've got nothing.
So it can't be proven beyond reasonable doubt?
Pretty much.
Well, what's the reaction time of a lithium battery?
The reaction time?
When a lithium battery hits the water, how long does it take to combust? I think once we know that, we can decide whether or not the battery is relevant to the case.
A lithium battery would be an almost instantaneous reaction, I'm pretty sure.
Mm-hmm. Lithium isn't a metal I've worked with, but it got beaten to my head never to mix it with substances it doesn't like. All that electricity the battery would have let out when it hit the water, it must have went straight into the poor Wolfie.
There's warning labels on the battery for a reason.
Okay, if the reaction is instantaneous, then the battery would have entered the water only seconds before the generator exploded. That's really weird.
Is it?
According to Diana's testimony, when the explosion happened, she was still holding the taser gun. In which case, who threw the battery into the water?
Huh. Good point. We can rule out Wolfgang, since the Blacken can only be a student who kills another student, and Diana.
It was only Diana and Wolfgang in the boiler room, so unless Diana herself was the one to throw the battery, then the battery can't play a part in the murder.
I didn't throw the battery. I promise. The shrapnel and generator are too close for comfort. They must be correlated. I'll admit that Diana throwing the battery is a possibility, but that's all it is. A possibility. There may be still another way for the battery to enter the water, and until I've ruled that out, I won't settle for a culprit just yet. Yeah, okay, I like that.
My idea? It was
Very
held by
astute.
that cut cord
Through
the vent.
fell.
and then someone dropped it.
Ooh.
Only Diana could have thrown it in the water.
Oh. But, lifting a battery would hurt too much.
Neo batteries are pretty lightweight, though.
The battery clearly couldn't have fallen.
Oh.
Fuck!
Extension cord. Oh, fuck me.
Perhaps something akin to what Ava described.
Yeah, if the battery is the murder weapon, why is there... Why is it? I'm John Delamere. I'm a pirate. I love sailing the seven seas with my crew.
Arg.
Arg. What else is there? I'm Cassidy. I have gamer smell, and I play games.
I drink Mountain Dew and I cover
I drink
everything
chocolate
Dorito
soda,
does.
and I play video games, and I don't wash myself, and I shower.
I'm getting ahead of
and-
myself.
Shit. Now is not time for jokes.
Shrapnel,
Oh.
generator, taser gun, extension.
Only Diana. Maybe it's extension cord on only Diana.
Possibly. Was there another
That's
thing?
like the only other place I can... I think there's one more that pops up.
By the murder weapon. Why is there
I think it's right
taser
after
gun?
this.
Maybe it's a red herring. Judging by the shrapnel.
Yeah, I think it's like something John says.
A few
yeah.
inches from this generator.
I'll just try extension cord and everything. I feel like extension cord has to be the answer.
Yeah, I think we've talked.
We've already
about
talked
everything
about the
else.
other two things.
Yeah.
So let's shoot only Diana. Okay, so try it on John's last statement. Because I feel like I just said, we talked about the taser, we talked about the shrapnel.
And
So-
the generator.
Yeah. And none of those actually correlate to this argument. Like, the generator correlates stationary. The taser, I mean, I guess you could have shot the water with the taser and detonated it like that, but, like, the moment it hits the water, it explodes, so it wouldn't be that. So, alright, let's see. This should be it. No. And what the hell is it, is the question. Hang on, my handy-dandy walkthrough will help us with that one.
Shrapnel. Only Diana
Give me-
could have thrown it in the water.
Give me 1 second.
Generator.
Unless you figure it out while I'm looking it up.
Taser
If you
gun.
do a good job.
Taser gun.
Let's see.
Shrapnel. Generator.
Yeah, okay. Like, scroll back a little bit.
Like it went off inside of it.
Scroll back, scroll back, scroll back. No. No. Okay, I'm almost there. It's so hard to go through the fucking video.
Oops, I missed.
Let's see what they shoot. They shoot Toshiko's the battery clearly with the generator. With the generator bullet on what Toshiko says.
Gotcha.
But the battery clearly couldn't have fallen. No, that's wrong. I don't know why that's wrong, but that's wrong,
incorrect
alright.
for some reason.
Yeah, that's incorrect for sure, but I guess we'll figure it out right now. No, the battery might have actually had fallen from the generator.
What makes you say that?
The shrapnel's position in front of the generator suggests there's a correlation between the two. However, it's unlikely Diana threw the battery at the generator. Not only is the boiler room difficult to see in, the generator is positioned far enough from the concrete platform that Diana, with her wounded arm, would need to stand on the platform's edge to make the shot. Which would obviously put her in danger of being attacked by Wolfgang again. Yeah, Wolfgang was really close. He could reach over into me if he wanted. If the battery hadn't been thrown, the only other possibility is that it fell down into the water. And considering the layout of the boiler room, what else could the battery fall off of except the generator? Are you saying the battery was sitting on top of a generator? Not on top, but maybe...
Inside.
Let's see. Suspended over the generator. With the vent. It's all coming together. The battery may have been suspended over the generator.
Suspended over?
If the battery was suspended by something, then the presence of that item starts to make a lot more sense. Yup, we already know the extension cord.
We're 7
It's all
steps
coming
ahead.
together now. Oh yeah, baby. The killer could have tied the extension cord around the battery and slung the battery over the generator. If the cord and battery were tied together at the time of the generator's explosion, it would explain why half of the cord had been burnt away. The more you explain it, the more unbelievable it sounds. What if that's the point? Maybe the killer chose a crazy method because no one would believe it. I don't see how weaving a cord into the mix is any more beneficial than leaving it out. If anything, the cord adds extra weight.
Which would be especially inconvenient for Diana, because her arm was bleeding.
Right. It wouldn't benefit Diana to hold the cord. So, what if she didn't? Someone else might have been supporting the cord instead. Something like... What else? The vent. Oh, wait. Yeah, okay.
But yeah,
Ooh.
still correct.
Bang. Throughout this trial, we've assumed the killer held the battery in some form or another. If the battery was on its own, the killer tossed it in. If the battery was wrapped with a cord, the killer held the other end of the cord. But in the same way something else can hold the battery, can't something else also hold the cord?
My head's starting to spin.
Yeah, me too, girl.
Are you talking about something which could keep the cord in place?
Something to keep the cord in place. If I imagine the cord, and the battery it's tied around, in front of the generator, in the same spot where the shrapnel has surfaced. The vent!
The vent. My mouse is way too quick. There we go.
There we go. Boom. Got it. Everything
It's
is
all
really
coming together.
The killer tied the cord to the vent. What vent? The one above the generator. It connects the boiler room and the dining hall. Unfortunately, there is only one person who knew about that vent before we said something in the tournament.
There's a
Ava.
vent above the generator?
You should remember some light shining into the boiler room. That's where the vent is. The vent itself set a bit far back into the wall, so you probably assumed the spot was a small window or something. If the boiler room and the dining hall are separated by one vent, does this make the wall paper thin? Or... there's two vents. The boiler room vent and the dining hall vent. Both are connected via a small ventilation shaft. I was able to get a close look at the boiler room vent after Ava and I woke up, which is why I know these details. How close is close for someone under 6 foot?
Oof. That's rough.
Ava helped me reach the vent. By letting me sit on her shoulders. Huh. Quite the visual. Don't rub it in. Poor guy. Anyway, if the killer
Short
tied
king.
one end of the cord to the vent and the other end around the battery, they could suspend the battery over the generator. He's just like me for real.
Something like that would result in an explosion.
What do you mean?
You say the killer tied one end of the cord to the vent and the other to the battery. However, indoor extension cords are much longer than regular cords. They can be upwards of 9 or more meters in length, as opposed to an average cord's 2 meters. 9 meters is significantly longer than the distance between the vent and the boiler room floor. If the killer wanted to tie the battery to the cord's other end, they would be tying it to something which is already submerged in the water.
I see. It's an impossible setup.
Not necessarily. The killer can have greatly reduced the length of the cord by doing that.
Cutting
Cutting
it.
the end off. Cutting the end off. They cut the end off. Shit.
Oh.
Cut the cord using what exactly?
Scissors? Is that what anyone else? That's what anyone would use, right?
And where exactly did these scissors come from?
Could have been the storage closets. They're packed with tons of stuff.
Well, I've been through those closets twice now, and I never saw scissors. Not even pliers? I didn't see pliers either. Could the cord have been cut using Wolfie's knife?
You believe the victim set up the murder trap? So this whole thing was a suicide mission? That's definitely not the case.
I should have read the other ones, I guess.
Yeah, I didn't realize they were that long. Repping core on battery. There we go. Bingo. The extension cord is pretty thin and flimsy. If the killer wanted the battery to be secure, they need to wrap a lot of cord around it. Probably to the point where there wouldn't be much spare cord remaining. Which is a good thing, because this spare cord is what the battery will be suspended by. So long as the spare cord isn't too long, the battery will sit safely above the water.
Yeah, so much effort. Agreed. How do you even submerge the battery into the water under these circumstances?
How? Simple. By adjusting the cord's position. All the killer would need to utilize is a certain aspect of the boiler room.
The
All the
water?
killer need to utilize is a certain aspect of the boiler room. Is it the generator? Oh, yeah, probably, like, it's right over it, so they probably use the generator to adjust the
Like
position.
the generator itself?
Yeah, maybe. That or the...
Nope.
No, okay, I was wrong.
It's gotta be
What
like,
is it then?
I would assume they like kicked the vent?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, you're smarter than me. Fucking shit. Like I mentioned earlier, I gave the vent a close look after originally waking up in the boiler room. Part of my inspection included opening the vent to get a better look at the other side.
The vent can be opened?
Not at all the way, but far enough for the vent to cause a domino effect if through closed. Then closed. Yeah. In our case, a domino effect involving the extension cord tied to it. If we assume the vent must be open for the battery to remain a safe distance above the water, we end up with a pulley system. To prevent the battery from entering the water, the vent is literally pushing the entire cord backwards. Ergo, it's not just the killer's own measurements keeping the battery in place, but the vent itself. Bro said ergo. Having opened one of these vents before, I can tell you how tough they are to move. Wrapping my fingers around the grate directly in front of me, I pulled as hard as I could. A lightweight battery definitely isn't heavy enough to pull one shut. It takes an actual person to close one. Which is great for the killer, because it means they get to maintain full control over when the battery enters the water. If they close the vent, the cord should slide forward and submerge the battery into the water. When that happens, the boiler room water becomes electrified by the battery's components, which in turn causes electricity to pass directly into the body of Wolfgang, who is standing in the water. Exactly which vent is the cord being tied to? The boiler room vent. Funny. Earlier, you said there's a small vent shaft connecting the boiler room vent to the dining hall vent. Assuming the killer is operating this trap from outside the boiler room, since we know there were only ever 2 people in this room, how would they even be able to reach the boiler room vent? Like you said, there's a separate vent in front of it. Huh. She has a point. I've been assuming the cord is tied to the boiler room vent. But I failed to consider the ventilation shaft. It becomes considerably harder to reach the boiler room vent if you have to reach down that shaft first. Not just that, I never tested to see if the boiler room vent can open toward inwards. I only got it to open outwards. By the logic, a vent on the opposite side of the shaft. This can only mean one thing. The killer never tied the cord to the boiler room vent. They tied the cord to the dining hall vent. That just creates the same problem as before, but reversed. Instead of the dining hall vent making it hard to close the boiler room vent, it's the boiler room vent making it hard to reach the dining hall vent.
No, because then they can kick in the other vent.
While the vents may seem like an obstruction, especially since they can't be opened all the way, there's a very easy workaround. All the killer needs to do is fit the extension cord between the grates of the boiler room vent.
Oh yeah, the grates. You mentioned something about them earlier. Right. When you described opening the boiler room vent.
Wrapping my finger on the grate. I literally just said that too.
Yeah, stop talking, soybean. If you can fit your fingers between the grates, there's no damn way you can fit a cord. Wait.
I'm 5'6" and I'm proud. Exactly. After which, you can slide the cord through the ventilation shaft and out the opposite end. For the killer to then go and tie it to the...
Oh shit.
Oh, hello.
Actually,
yeah, he literally says that in the dub. I was about to say that. He goes, actually.
Wait, really?
Yeah. It's so funny. He is a nerd.
Hello.
What is it now?
There's something I still don't understand about your theory. It's to do with the logistics of the cord.
The logistics?
Its size.
We're back to discussing this again? Never mind.
Size
I'll
matters.
find a way to combat his argument. It doesn't. Just like I've done countless times already. Because I'm the best in this trial, and this guy is annoying me.
These guys are all idiots.
They're all idiots, and being tall doesn't make you smarter. Actually, it makes you less smart, and I'm the smartest in the room.
The boiler room can be open. I don't even care what
Slice
you
that
guys
shit. Boom. 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 Get out of here, buddy. Yeah, that's not good. Cut that shit. Cut that shit. Can we go ahead? His argument might have made sense. Where for the... What do we have? Generator. I need to read what he says. Because I don't know if it's an advance or not. We did miss like 2 or 3 of the statements to cut, so... Let's see. During the investigation, no, that's cut. Oh, shit. And then... During the murder... Oh. Mash! Mash the button! Click! 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 Okay. We did it. Okay, this is the advance, I guess. Yeah. I don't have a problem here. Or don't see a problem here. The killer doesn't even need to open the vent. Because they could simply slide the cord between the grates.
The extension cords may be thin. The
But
plugs.
the plugs... Oh, they're cut off! They were cut off!
Oh, true.
Yeah, we can cut that. Gaps? Yeah, no, that doesn't matter. So we just, we can just cut what he said about the extension cord. Alright, cut through his words.
I'll cut through those words.
Bam! I'll cut through your words! You bastard.
Yeah, that's a typical anime insult. You
Yeah,
bastard!
sorry. I felt bad. Sorry. If you insert the card. Oh my god, Damon, you're so dumb. Fuck. If you insert the cord through the boiler room vent first, it's possible to fit the cord through. You just need to start with the internal plug. The cords in storage closet D have a slim internal end. This can easily be slid through the gaps in the vent. Once the killer ties the cord around the dining hall vent, presumably with a knot, the cord won't be at a risk of sliding back out either.
Holy shit.
Nice.
I see. When you put it like that, whether or not the boiler room vent was closed isn't really relevant.
How do you figure all this out from some shrapnel and an extension cord? This is crazy, man.
I debate every night.
You know me in front of the mirror.
At the
Looking
same
good.
time, what he's describing sounds plausible. I'm realizing Jean is pretty fucking smart.
He is. He is like, yeah, I like Jean because he looks like he'd be dumb, but he's very intelligent.
Yeah.
Like, he's very street smart. Since the battery was suspended over the generator, it's no surprise the machine ended up the way it did. Fortunately for Diana, she was safe by virtue of remaining on the platform. I imagine that was also the killer's intention.
The killer kept her on the platform?
They must have known they were injecting Wolfgang with a hallucinogenic, so it's possible they hoped his behavior would scare Diana off from entering the water, which it did. Although, even if Diana did die, the moment people realized only she and Wolfgang entered the boiler room, they'd probably call the whole thing a murder gone wrong. Well, all of this certainly changes things. Huh? If the killer is someone who needed access to the vent, and needed to be operating from the dining hall, then everyone who attended the game tournament is a suspect.
What?
Huh?
No way!
One of the tournament attendees is the killer? Damn it, how did I not realize sooner? The fact the killer could even access the vent means they must have been in the dining hall at the time of Wolfgang's murder.
So we can reduce it down to 8 people. Damon, Kai, Grace, Ava, Cassidy, Jet, Mark, and Jean.
It was probably Cassidy. She set the whole thing up.
Hey, I was only trying to improve the mood. It wasn't me. I was playing a game with Damon when the lights went out. I had to play music.
Me too.
You never touched my equipment.
I meant I was watching Kai and Damon play.
No, you weren't.
I was spectating as well.
She wasn't in the CG.
Oh, it's so obvious now.
It's
she
so
wasn't,
obvious.
She was the only one
fuck.
not in the CG.
Ava, why? You are my
too.
only friend.
Me 3. And Cass 2, I think. Whoa. Whoa. I was too focused on the game to remember who was and who wasn't there.
If everyone's telling the truth, then all 8 y'all were crowded around the same spot?
Near the right wall, where the TV was set up. It's also the furthest wall from the vent. Seems like someone is lying again. The tournament participants who flipped the vent. I could deduce who that person is by determining everyone's positions directly from the blackout. The problem is, I myself had been totally preoccupied with the game. I never got a good look at the actual people around me. Never got a good look. Wait, is that it? Well, I never got a good look at the others. I could still deduce their general positions and if they were near me. From whether or not I heard them. Think, Damon, think. Who and what did I hear back then? It was you. The only person I never heard was you. Ava.
Oh my god, why'd you have to do it, man?
It couldn't have been Cassie because she was screaming in our ear. Kai was sitting next to us. We saw John and Grace. We saw Mark. We knew Mark was doing the music.
Yeah. Yeah, you, Damon, Kai, and Mark have like the most solid alibis.
Yeah. The killer is Ava. Huh? Huh?
Huh?
Ava is the only one whose position I can't account for. Mark was mixing a track at the time. Kai and I were playing a game. So I know... Ugh, I can't speak! Damon! Stop it! Mark was mixing a track at the time Kai and I were playing a game. So I know he must have been stationed at the pad. And everyone else, I remember hearing their voices over the sound of the game. Everyone except Ava. In fact, the last I saw her, she was standing in the corner of the room with the vent.
So, Ava flipped the vent?
Oh man, and the reason no one heard it is because the music was too loud. Don't blame me. I was just doing what I was told. No one's blaming you! We're all on Ava! Care to contribute anything, Ava?
I didn't flip the vent. Well,
Fucking.
Well,
Damon
well,
said you did.
well.
Damon says a lot of things. Well, you aren't
Yeah,
technically
he says a
wrong.
lot.
I don't think that counts as an argument.
His theory is full of plot holes. He just reuses the point. He refuses to point them out.
What plot holes?
The cord.
What?
Hop on the cord right now. I need to
Damien,
vent.
check your Discord. Damien,
Check your
check your Discord.
I've been pinging you for hours.
Oh my god, it better not be that stupid bird image again.
In retrospect, you were so quick to accuse me that you overlooked a huge problem with the cord. If I'm the killer, how did I dispose of it?
Trick question. You left the cord tied to the vent.
What then? It unraveled by itself and fell into the water?
Got me there.
How did Ava get rid of the cord? I'm sure it's possible, if she knew to untie it at the right time. Interesting.
During the
Oh yeah, during the blackout, because no one could see it. To dispose of the cord, we just untied it during the blackout.
She untied the knot during a blackout?
Being the one who set up the trap, Ava could have easily practiced untying the knot in advance, or she just made it really simple. Or a really simple knot. Either way, it wouldn't be any more difficult than untying your shoelaces with your eyes closed.
If Ava untied the cord, did it also fall into the water?
Diana's testimony says as much. It does? During your confrontation with Wolfgang, you recounted hearing certain sounds. Oh, they're gonna make me do this again? Holy fuck. I'm not like you. I'll never be like you.
They're gonna make me do this again.
I won't give up until the world knows. I won't give up until I'm known as... Boom. All of a sudden... Oh, Diana, goddammit. All of a sudden, everything turned white. Everything in front of me, except Wolfgang. In those few seconds, he became pitch black. And then, so did everything else.
That shot of him, black, looks like Your Turn to Die.
It does, it looks cool as fuck. The first sound was obviously the battery exploding. And the second, when you first recounted the story, you said it was the sound of the knife hitting the water. But why would a thin knife make such a big splash? Then, do you think what really caused that sound was probably the extension cord falling into the water? When you see it that way, it does seem likelier.
I should have known. The kid who lied about her talent and tried to lie about the Tozy trinkets. I should have known. I should have known only Ava fucking Tsunaka would kill Wolfgang.
That is such a good fucking line.
You're right. That Ava lied to us several times already.
It's so funny because Grace fucking despises Ava and just like tried to shut it down. And she's like, Ava fucking Tsunaka!
Yeah.
It's like, she's like the bane of all problems. But she's just a mathlete! How did someone like her come up with something this complicated?
Just a mathlete.
Her talent would give her the upper hand in all that measurement nonsense.
Even so, The sheer volume of items Ava had to steal. She's been under heavy suspicion these past few days. How did she sneak into Jet and Desmond's room without being noticed?
It's impossible. Wolfgang even got mad at me for being late to the dining hall by a few minutes. I've been watched the entire time I've been here. There's no way Jet wouldn't have noticed me taking his battery.
Right on. No one steals from me.
They already did,
Oh, shit.
dumbass.
And anyway, how could I enter the cord how could I enter the cord through the boiler room vent when I can't even reach the top of the generator? If anything, you should be suspicious of the taller students.
I understand why people are doubtful, but I can't let the conversation continue like this. Ava did, in fact, have a way to reach the vent. All she had to use was the boxes,
Yeah,
I
I guess the
think.
boxes, right? Like
It's like the only thing that would work.
Nope.
What the fuck? Ava grabbed one of the boxes.
That's setting myself up. Blah blah blah. This is not important. Didn't happen.
Yeah,
Didn't happen.
Didn't happen. No, stop. Damn it, Damon! Damon! Damon!
The bar?
Maybe. Oh my god, Damon. Damon, stop.
Okay,
Damon.
okay.
Oh, get a grip. Get a grip on yourself. You can't be doing this.
This is our last
I'm
thing.
the ultimate
Alright.
debater.
Alright.
I'm the ultimate debater, not the ultimate flunk. I need to do this.
I really don't know what to, I don't know.
Oh my god. Oh my god, come on. You have 452 Battle Royale wins in Fortnite. You can't be doing this. Let's use the walkthrough because we have one left.
Yeah.
Oh, that's an outside debate. That's probably not it. Oh wait, no, wait, maybe it is actually. Okay, I'm getting there.
Van, extension cord, Ava, during the blackout, boxes. Yeah, boxes near the generator.
Wait, hold on. Let me see when.
Is it these ones on the bottom?
Oh, they put it right on, like, yeah, right there, right there. That's where they put it.
Oh, thank
it was just
God.
dumb. Yeah, we were close. Ava, to reach the top of the generator, you simply stood on one of the boxes in the boiler room. There are already a huge pile of them near the generator itself. You could easily push one up against the machine.
She would have known about those boxes in advance too, since she explored the boiler room with you ahead
I
of
love
time.
Winona's little smile, bro.
I love Winona. She's got my
Yeah.
favorite design.
Yeah, I love her design.
Okay,
Her and Diana
I
from it.
could have used the boxes to reach the top of the generator. And I could have fit the cord through both vents if I inserted the right plug. I can do both these things without attracting suspicion. What I can't do without attracting suspicion is opening the vent.
Huh?
Which vent are we talking about?
The dining hall one. Based on what Damon's saying, it needs to be open for the killer's trap to work. But opening it during the tournament is asking it to be caught, and opening it before the tournament is useless because Jet, Cassidy, and Mark would see it while setting up.
Oh yeah, you're right. If there was an open vent with a cord tied to it, I would have noticed for sure.
Now that Ava mentions it, I'm pretty sure the vent was closed during setup. The vent was closed?
See? There's no way I can execute this trap without being caught. It's a stupid trap anyway. All the cord and vent stuff is too complicated. There's a billion ways it could go wrong. Damon's just making stuff up. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
What the? That's bullshit!
Can you... Can it, you four-eyed troll! You can't talk your way out of this one.
Shit.
The only person who will be sick-minded enough to kill Wolfgang is you, and only you. Don't you try to fucking tell me or otherwise.
Yeah, David, you don't tell the ultimate debater they're wrong. Come on, bro.
Do not debate the debater.
Do not debate the debater lest you get slammed. Just because I did
tournament.
Danganronpa subtitles too crazy. Wolfgang.
Alright. I apologize
she's
in
just
advance to
crashing
anyone
out.
that was looking for a full
A
blind
full
playthrough. But
yeah,
I'm
no,
using a
stop.
walkthrough from now on because
Yeah.
because of the one
Now that we basically know who the killer is.
and I can't save right now anyway. So
But yeah, Ava fucking Tsunaka, I hate her guts. I hope she dies a brutal death. Just kidding. I love Ava. I hope she
I
lives.
still
a beautiful
love
life.
Ava. She just went down the
I
wrong
still
path.
love her. Yeah, she had a lot of things wrong with her. She went down the wrong path. Yeah,
I just
whatever.
happened to be at the game tournament.
I'm
So-
Damon Mitsu, and I think she's a bastard. Just playing. I love Ava. She's like my only friend. Just kidding. You're wrong. No, that's wrong.
No, that's
I win.
wrong. You're so
No,
dumb.
that's wrong. You're dumb. I'm smart. Get a grip.
We're
No.
at 50 minutes.
Let's give it 10 more minutes. Come on.
Okay,
No,
let's keep
it's
going.
no coincidence you were at the game tournament. Come on, man.
Come on, man. You're stupid.
Thank God our captors are letting us go for 10 more minutes. In fact, it's not even a coincidence the tournament took place during the murder.
What do you mean?
It was impossible for me to notice this earlier, but the killer timed the tournament so it would grant them an alibi for the murder. Oh, yeah, right.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Are you accusing me of murder again? I thought you said Ava was the culprit.
The detective isn't supposed to switch suspects in a last stretch like this. You're totally throwing the audience for a loop, and not in a good way.
Dude, you guys are
They're
too
so
far
dumb.
ahead. You're too smart for your own
Except
good.
neither of you played a role in determining what time the tournament would be held. The only person to determine that was Ava. Yep, she was the one who won 9.
When I was training my talent, I did most of my studying at 9 a.m. The brain is most active and ready to absorb information around that time. I think this effect could help our video game skills.
A 9 a.m. tourney, huh? Wouldn't be the first time. Screw it, let's do 9 a.m. 1 hour after the morning announcement. Ava knew she would be in the dining hall tomorrow, so when Cassidy announced the tournament, she realized it was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to create an alibi for herself.
That's insane. How could she come up with something like that on the spot?
It wasn't just for an alibi either, since Ava knew about the tournament. Since Ava knew about the tournament, she could time the setup of her trap accordingly. So, to answer her question of why neither Cassidy, Jet, nor Mark noticed the open vent, when I think back on what Cassidy told me earlier today, before the tournament began, I can discern exactly when Ava opened the vent.
Oh my gosh, it's when she was playing her game.
Oh my god. After setting up Mark's
After
equipment?
stacking the furniture.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Cassidy, you told me Ava approached you yesterday and asked to help set up the tournament. What exactly did she say? When did I tell you this again? Before the tournament. Oh, now I remember. Yeah, Eva wanted to see what sort of equipment the tournament needed. After I showed her Mark's stuff and told we were redecorating the dining hall, she offered to help. Back when this conversation happened, you still hadn't decided what time we were going to start redecorating, right? Yeah, it's kind of embarrassing. Eva really helped me out, though. She said she would stack the dining hall furniture we weren't going to use later that night. Afterwards, we could focus purely on arranging the technical stuff in the morning. Alright, then tell me what happened last night. Jet, Mark, Ava, and I came to the dining hall at around 8:40 p.m., probably. We stacked the table and the dining chairs against the left wall, and the sofas we moved to the middle of the room, maybe a little more to the right. Then, we all went back to our dorms. Well, I was kind of hungry, so I stayed a few minutes before leaving.
Hold the phone. If those sofa chairs were moved in the middle of the room, why'd I see one over in the corner this morning?
Because Ava pushed it there.
Ava, what?
She didn't want to take part in the tournament, just watch it from the side. That's what she told me. I never thought it was weird or anything. Some people just like stick it to the walls of rooms, you know?
Cassidy, honey.
Yeah, she is tweaking.
Click, put it together.
Come on, brother.
We're talking about the sofa in the upper left corner, eh? The one next to the coffee table?
Yes, sir, Bob!
Yo, when the power went out, I'm pretty sure Damon ran over to that corner to look through... Yeah, a vent.
Did she move the chair there so it would be easier to reach the vent later?
Why would I, when Cassidy just said the vent was closed during setup?
Because you were covering for yourself in advance.
Huh?
The vent may not have been open all the time, but I'm willing to bet that that's because you were still creating your trap.
In what way?
Let's say Ava took a detour for the boiler room first, and slid the internal plug through both vents. After going upstairs and helping rearrange the dining hall furniture, during which she moves a sofa chair so it obscures the vent, she heads outside and hides until everyone else goes to bed. Then she walks back into the dining hall. And walks back in and opens the vent.
So Ava took complete advantage of them.
Not my fault those two were so trusting.
You think a big guy like me was gonna be afraid of some mathlete? No way.
I mean, she did lie about a lot of important things. Her talent being one of them. She also cried and fled the scene after we found out, no?
Yeah, that was pretty brutal.
I just thought it was cool. She wanted to help me out. Hey, can we backtrack a little? Like, to before all this Ava talk? Why? What happened? It's to do with the chair position. The chair? You guys keep saying it was, in front of the vent, but Damon stood in front of the vent during the blackout. If the chair was in the position you all say it was, it should have blocked him from crouching in front of the vent. Ava probably just moved it during the blackout. Huh? Before the blackout, it was positioned with its back to the left wall. However, when I ran over to the vent, the chair was suddenly pushed up against the northern wall, out of the vent's range. Ava must have shifted the chair while everyone was initially panicking from the blackout. I'm guessing she hoped people wouldn't misremember its position and think it was always along the northern wall. Oh man, so I totally fell for it!
I also remember seeing a speaker in that corner.
Yeah, about that. This morning, Jet, Mark, and I arrived at the dining hall a little after 8 a.m., then Ava came a few minutes later. She helped us put together Mark's equipment, which was stationed in the lower right corner of the room. And then she volunteered to place speakers around the room while Jet and I set up the TV next to the fireplace.
Moving a speaker near the vent. When did Ava do that to, oh my god. Did Ava do that to drown out Diana and Wolfgang's scuffle?
Yeah, and in turn, exacerbate the effects of the other speakers. There were almost a dozen spread throughout the dining hall, some even sandwiched into corners so they didn't need to be. Ava probably placed them the way... Ava probably placed...
Yeah.
Oh my god. Ava probably placed them that way to cover as much ground as possible. Still... Ava entered the dining hall at 8:10 a.m.,
Fuck.
right? Cassidy, you were saying something. Oh, yeah, right. Ava entered the dining hall at 8:10 a.m., right? So, wouldn't it be impossible for her to knock out Lawyer Man at 8:15 a.m.? Yeah. According to Ava, she arrived around 8:10 a.m., but it's possible she actually arrived much later. Since there's no clock in the dining hall, we just couldn't have known. In fact, that might be why Ava seemed so eager to arrange Mark's equipment in the morning. Upon realizing it had a clock, she wanted to ensure it would only be powered on after she arrived.
It seems the setup of this trap occurred across 3 phases. Phase 1 took place in the boiler room, and involved tying a lithium battery to an extension cord. The cord was then slid through the grates of the closed boiler room vent, presumably until it almost poked out of the other end of the ventilation shaft. Phase 2, by contrast, was carried out in the dining hall. The aforementioned cord was tied around the dining hall vent, which was then left open. This must have happened after Cassidy, Mark, and Jet were already done redecorating. For the third and final phase, the battery was carefully suspended over the generator. All these steps combined created a pulley system, which could only be triggered by closing the dining hall vent. Is there anything I'm missing?
How I closed the vent. No one has explained how I closed the dining hall vent. Obviously, I didn't do it during the blackout. According to Damon, the blackout can only happen after the vent is closed. So, I must have stood up, gone behind the chair, and closed the vent during the tournament. That's stupid. Someone that is definitely going to notice that sort of suspicious movement. Wait, no. That's not suspicious.
Conspicuous
movement.
Conspicuous.
It doesn't matter if that someone is on the opposite side of the room. They're gonna notice. How did we overlook such an obvious discrepancy?
Ava's right. Standing up would look really suspicious. Which is exactly what she used that to circumvent that problem.
Sofa vented by the wait.
Yeah, the
chair by
sofa. Yeah.
Please.
Bada boom!
Got it.
Yeah, we got you. The location of the chair bypasses the problem entirely. To close the vent, all you need to do is set the chair to recline and reach behind you.
Set the chair to recline?
All the dining hall chairs have the ability to recline. Some were already set to that position at the start of the tournament, including Ava's.
Damn.
With her chair to recline, Ava can easily reach down and close the vent without shifting from her position. It's not perfectly inconspicuous, but it's subtle enough to not catch most people's attention. Especially those focused on watching a video game competition. Got her.
Got her ass.
Mhm.
I think now may be a good time to call it.
Yeah, because we can just do this and then the post-trial in the next
Hell
part.
yeah.
Well, guys,
We
I
caught
guess
our killer.
we'll see you next time for the end of Project Ian's Garden Chapter 1. Oh my god.
fucking damn
Oh my
it.
god. Just bye. Just fucking bye.
Bye. Bye. It's fine.
Fuck. Fuck.
Bye.
Okay.